Hello, my monstrosities. Hello once again. Today I bring to you a DVD discussion video. Yes, I've released that video talking about what the upcoming changes to DVD will be at the mid-chapter thanks to the developer update, and I had a few ideas on what the possible meta will be for both sides coming up. Now, I will say, it seems that somebody has already beaten me to making this a video, but who says I can't still put it out myself? So, for, of course, the side that I play the most, let's start there. The bad guy side. Yes, the bad guys, because we are on YouTube. Now, a lot of people are thinking that builds are going to look something like this for the bad guys. Something like corrupt, so you block the gens, possibly 3 gens in the beginning. Deadlock to make sure that you can keep playing the game, and no way out so you can make it finish. And with the changes to healing and healing perks, people are expecting Sloppy to be on a lot of bad guys builds. Do I agree with most of this? Not really. If I'm being honest, Corrupt still isn't in a state where you're going to get insane value from it. Now, people hypothesize that we're going to start going into a hidden run type of meta where people are going to have corrupt and they're going to hit somebody and then leave to hit somebody else, and since it'll take longer, that's what we're going to have happen. Realistically, we all know how hard it can be to get the first down in general. Now, mind you, we won't have to worry about dead hard, but there are still some things that we should be careful about, and we'll get to those when we flip to the other side. Now, corrupt in its state is okay, and I think this comes off of the back of a lot of people expecting gens to fly because things like Call of Brine have been hit, or are going to get hit, I should say. But if we're being honest, one perk that I think we should really start implementing more of, that I said with the last time that Dead Hard got changed, is this Fearmonger. Now, people are saying, oh, that'll just let people 99 their sprint burst the entire time. The thing about Fearmonger and Sprint Burst is that people aren't as good as they think they are with it. Everyone claims that, oh no, I don't want to run into Sprint Burst users, that way you have people just wait until you get close and then running away. But for most of the roster, you get to do this fun little thing, which is either catch up, or hit them while they're running away, or just in general, hit them once you finally get them. There's no more going to be that waiting game, or so we think. Now, I will say that the Dead Hard change, meaning that you have to unhook somebody first to earn it, I've seen people say that that's just kind of like making deliverance. So, I don't know. If we're being honest, I think there's still a good chance that we might see Dead Hard still, because people love that crutch perk. But the reason I say Fearmonger to address Sprint Burst and Lithe is, well, we're going to see that exhaustion perks are actually going to have effects. If people don't know that you're close because they're blind and they stick to a gen, or they get off early, that means that they're not rushing the gens. So, if I'm talking about exhaustion, do you think that we're also going to see Blood Echo? This is something that I also think might actually get some use out of, because people have said that it's going to take far too long to heal, so people are just going to rush gens. And if everybody's right about Sloppy Butcher and people just choosing to stay injured, well, they can choose to be exhausted too if you have Blood Echo on the build. So those are just two hypotheses that I have for a new wave of perks coming into the foray. I think that we might actually get much more value out of exhaustion as a status effect with the changes coming to the DVD. Then we talk about Deadlock. This is something that people thought was going to rock the nation when the gens got changed to 90 seconds from their previous 80 anyway. And mind you, nobody is really running Deadlock. Everybody is choosing to kick gens 15 times over now, and I truthfully believe that Deadlock isn't as much of a concern as people want to make it out to be. You ask any half decent survivor, they see a block gen, they just go to the next one. And well, that's just what happens. I don't think that changing it to a meta so that people are going to be injured longer is going to do much for when it comes to making Deadlock happen. If anything, people are just going to rush the gens faster, and Deadlock's going to pop even faster. Like, I don't see this having the same insane value that people think that it will. But what I do think will happen is we can finally use perks that talk about people grouping up. Discordance. Because it's going to take longer to heal yourself than heal an ally, which is the main crux of what healing has been in this current state, I think that we might actually have use for things like Deathbound. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to say that this is going to become meta anytime soon, but I do think that something like Discordance is going to be really helpful. Because, for some odd reason, people just stopped using Distortion, so I don't know if you want to use Barbecue and Chili, but hey, I think Discordance will prove that people are grouping up to try to get things done, and I really think this is going to be good for another perk I'll talk about with the survivor side. But beyond this, with hits to things like pain res, making it so that regression isn't necessarily as high, what other form of slowdown do we think that we will keep besides just stacking slowdown? Do we truthfully think that Thana can come back? No. If we're being honest, probably not. Somebody will still try to stick the heal in some odd corner, especially with map design. But I will say one thing though. A perk that I actually have faith in coming back, or not even coming back, being used more often, is Gearhead. Now, if you're looking at this video without seeing what changes happened, Gearhead is going to make it so that once you injure somebody, it'll proc for 30 seconds, and while it's active, if somebody hits a good skill check, you'll see them. I think this will be a great substitute, or I shouldn't even say a substitute, a great replacement to things like Barbecue. Because just think about the roster. A lot of them have means of injuring people and just letting it rock. That's why people are thinking hit and run is going to be good, but truthfully, if you throw a Hunter's Hatchet and then they are miraculously still going around through a loop, you'll know where to throw another hatchet maybe across the map while somebody's on a gen. Kind of the same thing with Nurse, who people are, fear-mongering that she got buffed because you can't light burn her anymore in the new patch. I mean, who was light burning her before? But hey, I guess. Go off, I guess. And then, with this constant stream of information, you might even be able to use bad guys that just inflict damage over and over again, like these two. I think this could even be nasty on Oni, right? We all talk about how you want to just get that first injure, let them walk around so you get some blood accrued. Well, throw on Sloppy on Oni, throw on Gearhead, and you know where to take your Demon Dash throughout the match. So, that's one of my maybe nots that we'll see, is Gearhead. But if we're going to go into a much more chase-intensive meta, what else do we think that we're going to see more often? Well, everyone is under the impression that, once again, we're going to have save the best for last, make a miraculous jump into the game. Well, if the meta shifts away from people taking 15,000 hits I think you're going to have a harder time getting those hits to build up save the best for last. Now, on the other hand, what will this do for you? If people aren't healed to full all the time, so it doesn't take you 2 hits to get to the center of a survivor, and people are just staying injured and rushing through things, well, you get 1 stack and they go down and somebody else is popping a gen. So I don't believe that we'll see save the best for last in the same capacity that we've seen in this meta. And even then, you saw how quickly people let it go, because it isn't nearly as good as what people think. Now, for you individuals that love your regression perks, I saw some people say that we're going to see a rise of pop and ruin again. And I think that is just the most delusional thing, if I'm being honest. But it's not outside the realm of possibility. Ruin is not good. It's okay, I guess. But if people are choosing to stay injured and stay on the gens, I don't think you're going to see Ruin have the same effect, because you can't really scare people off like that. And then with Pop, I can see this doing what we did again, where you pair it with Call of Brine or something like that. But I really don't think it'll be worth your time anymore. I think that you'll be better off actually trying to play the game and trying to regress. But, to that extent, an old perk that I do think that will come back, Tinkerer. Jay, but you thought Deadlock wasn't gonna work, so why would Tinkerer work? Well, Tinkerer is just sheer information before the gen pops. You get over there and say you already had your, well, you're undetectable, so you don't really need your fearmonger, but if you have that on top of that so they can't run away once you get over there, throw on something like, where are we? So many perks and still no search bar. Merciless Storm. You do something like this, people are going to be in the game for a while, and you can reap the benefits at the end with something like No Way Out. And also, we don't even see Noed anymore. So I don't think that we're going to have to worry about things like this. Now, while I'm on this page, is leverage going to be any good now? Maybe. I've heard mixed reports that they didn't actually fix the fix they thought they did, meaning that it works on self-heals too. So maybe we will see leverage actually be used in combination with, of course, Sloppy Butcher. For those that can use it, and for those that can't, Gift of Pain is still right there. And while we're at Gift of Pain, there's the possibility that we go back to seeing people run some nice Scourge Hook builds, right? Maybe not Pain Res, if I'm being honest. But if people are going to be slower and mangled, you get to the hooks, I think, because I've doubted, I've certainly doubted how much people will devote themselves to trying to get their Pain Res hook. If it'll take you 30 seconds to get to the hook, they will go for it even though they know the gen is popping in 2. I don't understand it, but people do it, and I think that's what we might see, but you wonder, why am I not including Pain Res into this? I think you'll get much better value if people take longer to heal, and the possibility of losing those heals, as well as inflicting speed penalty once they get it off. But why Monster Shrine? Yes, this will give you additional hooks, but if people are choosing to stick to gens, well, they're not getting their friends. So, I think things like this will become more viable in the next meta for the bad guy side. And of course, everybody is still going to run things like lethal to get the show on the road. I think you'll still be using that over corrupt more than anything. And, you know, there's still the option of Plaything Pentimento, I think we always go, oh, this is such a nasty combo, and then we don't put it on all of our builds because you realize that people either choose to not hear you or they slip up and then maybe. So there's a possibility that we see this again, but I wouldn't put my money on it because it never does play out that way. Not to say that it's not good still, but everyone tries to make it seem like it's so meta defining. So yeah. But on the last note, before we switch over to Survivor, I will say that one of my favorite brand of perks for bad guys might not be as necessary or as prevalent, which is things like hubris and hold your applause, devour. What do they have in common? Exposed. I don't think we'll see exposed perks play nearly. We never see them play a role if we're being honest, and I think that's going to continue, unfortunately. So yeah, there's that. Now for the Survivor side. Yes, if I play Survivor, I'm on Leon. Now, we've seen things like med kits go insane. We've seen that before. But if we start from a clean slate, what do we think we'll see? Well, the biggest player that I've always talked about since its introduction, this is going to be insane. Blood Rush, new perk, get your exhaustion back, and what people are claiming they're going to do, let's see if they actually do it. They say that they're going to run Sprint Burst and the lives with Blood Rush because they won't be dead harding nearly as often. Do I believe them? No. But the other question is, will people be as good with it? The one that scares me the most, everyone worries about Sprint Burst, but this is the one that I'm actually concerned about. It takes a lot to be good with Sprint Burst. Like, too many people will wait until you're right in their face and then sprint off when they could have just done that a lot earlier. Like, if they hear your terror radius and see you coming, they could just leave. But too many people go, oh, it's going to be funny. I'm going to be right next to you and I'm going to zip away. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-day. I don't have faith that people are going to be as good with Sprint Burst as they claim. But the one that always catches me off guard because that means that there's an obstacle between you two is Lithe. This is pretty dangerous. Yes, they both accrue for 3 seconds at the same speed, but Lithe means that there was something in between you two that they made use of that you now have to go around, usually generating more distance. Lithe is the one that I'm worried about seeing in the new meta. And while we're on this page, off the record, still going to be good. Still going to be good. People are talking about, but people are just going to tunnel and camp even harder. How do you do that? What is that claim? How do you tunnel and camp harder than you were before? If you were already trying to do those things, you were probably already maxing out trying to do those things. You can't, standing stiller at a hook isn't going to do anything. So I don't understand that claim, which is why we're probably still going to see off the record. But if we're seeing hit and run, I think one combo that I've talked about before will come back. Unbreakable and hold your applause, please. DS. But Monster DS is so bad. Why would anybody use it? Well, what I've said time and time again, DS on its own was not the problem. It's the fact that it left you with no options. Somebody gets off the hook, you hit them off the record. You hit them again, put them down, DS. And then, after all of that is done, hopefully they lithe away. And I lithe away, waddle waddle, right? This is a build that I think might be pretty insane. Because you hit somebody off the hook because they're tunneling harder, I guess. And then what? You leave him on the floor because you can hit and run now? Well, unbreakable, and we're right back in the cycle of where this was the problem. And this used to be BT, and this used to be Dead Hard. I think this might be the go-to for solo queue. Now, item-wise, people are acting like they're still not going to use medkits because healing yourself is still good. Surprise, surprise. But, hey, if people want to claim this is what they're going to do because of Gen Rush, go ahead, be my guest, and throw on all the fun things, right? Will we see more Gen jockeys? Of course, because people are going to be trying to get the game over as quick as possible. What am I looking for? There we go. We're going to be seeing more of this. A lot more of this. Hyperfocus, stakeout, prove thyself. Do you need more than this? Who knows? Who knows? People claim that they're just going to, oh, you hated us before, we're going to throw more gen perks on like we weren't doing that already. Admittedly, not much changes for survivors in the builds, and it's just going to rely on if people can put their money where their mouth is and do more nasty things like this. Why didn't it include Vigil this time? Well, if people are just getting over things faster, well, that's pretty nice, including exhaustion. And if they're just sprint bursting the entire time with Vigil, and it always seems to be up, and then when it's like close to being over and they're still up, maybe even replace off the record with renewal. People are claiming that they're going to actually use this perk. I don't see it happening. What is that perk? There we go. I don't see it happening. But another thing that can happen, resilience. If people are choosing to stay injured and they're getting over everything faster and they're sprint bursting away and they get to do it again, all while having, I don't know, I guess maybe, yeah, a toolbox to get the game over with. Or maybe a medkit to actually heal so they can use their blood rush. I think this could be another very lethal combo that we haven't seen. Or even, drop the blood rush and just go risk it for the biscuit with adrenaline. Now, I don't recommend that. I do think that this would be a better choice overall because resilience will give you more repair speed, Sabo, healing, note hooking, vaulting. You're just going to be a menace, especially with Vigil and something like Sprint Burst, and you can even put Lithe here, like I said before, to combo better with Blood Rush. That's what I think we'll see from the Survivor side. And if you are a Survivor watching this, hey, throw it on, prove me wrong, show me that it's either not that good or that, hey, some other things are just better. I think that we're going to see a lot more of this. I don't think that we're going to see any more Circle of Healing. Thankfully, I'm so happy about that, you have no idea. But I think that we might see more interesting builds. Will we see some distortions? Maybe. But I think we'll also see a lot more of these. A lot more of those. A lot more of these. You know the works. So yeah. That's my ideas of what the new meta will be in the upcoming DVD patch. And, well, you tell me yours. If you liked the video, like it. Got a comment for me, comment. And until next time, peace out, my monstrosities.